Sometimes a story finds you in that odd, fuzzy space between bedtime and dreams, where childhood wonder still carries weight. Now, I've got an author I'd like you to meet who takes us beyond the myth of the tooth fairy and into a world where imagination, courage, and a single wish can change everything. A story that reminds us even the smallest dream can lead to the biggest adventure. Stick around because you're going to learn more about the book and the writing journey this author took to create it.
Welcome to A Book Finds You podcast. This week's guest is Penny Knobel-Besa. Join us as she shares the inspiration behind her book, along with her writing process, routines, and challenges. And now, here's your host, best-selling author, Rob Jolles.
Today's guest, Penny Knobel-Besa, playwright, director, wrote a musical, Under Your Pillow, and directed it off-Broadway in New York City, where it was picked up for development as a motion picture. And now she's expanded the play into a full-length book, which includes the never-told-before life story of the Tooth Fairy. It's a classic like The Wizard of Oz. Happy to have you with us, and welcome to the show, Penny.
Hi there, Rob. Nice to be here.
Great to talk to you. And I want to dive right in and talk about your book. So, standard question everybody gets is, I know it didn't find you, you found it. So how did that book find you?
Interesting. Of course, it was a play first. And the play, I often tell people who ask me, volunteering is always a good thing and you get a reward. I had founded a theater company in Baltimore, and we were a touring company and were used for fundraising by other organizations. And we toured Maryland, we Habitat for Humanities, we did Sound of Music, etc. And then a contact from an event in Baltimore, the Flower Mart. They said, could you please come and just do a performance? And we didn't have anything for kids. And they said, oh, please come. And I said, all right. So I told a few tales and they invited us back the next year. And all because I volunteered. I then asked one of my actors, I saw his talent for writing music. And I asked him to write a song for the Tooth Fairy. And that was it. That was the magic moment. When I heard his song, I knew it should go somewhere. And so I decided. He moved to New York as an actor to do theater. Right. I went to Yale for a summer program to see how I might do something in New York. And together we produced a play off Broadway at the Gene Frankel Theater. And it was a great adventure.
I can imagine. How long ago was that, Penny?
1994.
Okay.
Almost 95.
And then when did you finish the book?
I have to say the Maryland Writers Association formed a chapter in Cumberland, Maryland, probably 2019 or so. And I joined. And it was that, and I thought, well, I guess I'm supposed to be writing if I'm joining a writers group. And so I got out what I had been working on. I had a friend who had edited it for me once, but I joined and they formed a critique group. And I sent chapter by chapter through the Maryland Writers Association's critique group. And with great thanks to them, it got finished. And then I had to find an illustrator. So the event took a while. So it finally, a young man who had been in my background is theater, of course, and a young man who took my theater class when he was 10. I met him again he had an exhibition at the Gilchrist Museum with his art. And it looked like animation. The illustrations in the book are amazingly, very, very wonderfully like they'll come to life in front of you. So I finally got the right illustrator, and that's why I was finally able to publish.
Well, and I'm glad you held out too, because that kind of book, from what you're describing, I think The illustrator is critical that we get
Yeah,
that right. I mean, that's half the story, particularly when you look at the audience that's going to be enjoying that book.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it was picked up for development as a motion picture. They even came in and filmed it, one of the last performances. And the cameraman who came has had an interesting comment. Oh, I was grumpy this morning. I had to come and film this children's thing. Oh, it was so good. It was fun. It was wonderful. And people who were seeing the play were coming out saying it's a classic. I could see it every year.
Yeah.
And I thought that the Tooth Fairy was the marketing element. And Steve Feldman, he was the television producer of Politically Incorrect and an Emmy Award director, picked it up and worked on it, but gave it to his little pregnant assistant who tried to make it a tot movie. And they didn't market the Tooth Fairy element.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I've always recognized that the marketing area of this book is the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Penny, now we know how the book found you. How did the Tooth Fairy find you? Why the Tooth Fairy? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Tooth Fairy deserves his story. But
Yeah.
first thing I thought was, wow, what sparks somebody finding the Tooth Fairy?
You know what? Nobody's asked me that question. And I would have to reach back to a long way to
Mhm.
that beginning. And I'm not coming up with an answer.
Mhm.
So all I can say is she just wormed her way into that story.
Yeah.
Initially, it was because I asked that my Jim Conley to write a song for the Tooth Fairy in this little production we were doing at the Engineers Club in Baltimore.
Mhm.
And like I said, when I heard that song, I needed to explore her.
Right.
And
Right.
Mother Goose was missing. Suddenly she stayed missing and the title became Under Your Pillow.
Wow.
So what's interesting is the cover, which you can't see in the audio, is Father Goose flying the two children on his back.
Wow.
And Father Goose is a surprise element too, I think, in the book,
Wow.
because everybody knows Mother Goose, but Father Goose has a more prominent role. That's because Mother Goose is missing for most of it till
Right.
we find her at the end.
Yeah. I can definitely feel this kind of Wizard of Oz vibe within this book that you're describing. Let me ask you this, for parents and readers, if they were sharing this story with their children, what do you hope they carry with them once they reach the end?
Variety of things. That for the opening, it's clear that the little boy is not happy at all. He has a loose tooth, yes, but his father is no longer in his life.
Hmm.
And that is a sad part for him. He's kind of lost his smile.
Right.
And his stepfather, who's a nice upbeat guy, loves to play the guitar, and his mother was a singing waitress, and that's how they met. And so he has inherited, the stepfather's inherited the family toothbrush factory. And the toothbrush factory is in Omaha, Nebraska, in the middle of nowhere.
Hmm.
And this boy lives in New York City. And it's a good book for them to find out in the end how the boy, one, begins to call Brad, the stepfather, Dad. And he's very happy that he's made this move to Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
So there's a good feel book for if for the boys that have a trauma in their life, that it works out.
Yeah. I'm going
So
to pay you a compliment, Penny. I normally 5 minutes ago would have been into your writing process, but I'm fascinated with the book. I can't let go of the questions of the book. So that's a compliment to you. I've never spent this long on a book before. But kudos to you. Like I said, okay. Were you ever in Omaha, Nebraska? What Omaha to the table?
I don't know. It's interesting because when I look at a map, it truly is absolutely in the center of the USA.
Yeah.
I think I was looking for a place as far away. Now,
Yeah.
I'm also a bird watcher. There's bird watching always taking. That's a good spot for bird watching.
Right.
So, and I don't want to, I love Omaha, Nebraska. So
Right. Right. Well, good.
that.
I've been to Omaha, Nebraska. The fine folks there seem wonderful, but I'm glad I'm sure they're going to like this book.
In the end, the boy is very happy he's in Omaha,
There you
Nebraska.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
I have my own
The
Omaha,
villain of the
Nebraska.
book,
Go ahead.
ah, the villain of the book we haven't talked about is Mr. DK. Okay.
Hmm.
But in the real world, the step parents are often perceived as the villains. And
Right.
in the fantasy world, BB Wolf, Big Bad Wolf, is also perceived as the villain, when in fact he's a vegan vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat. He's allergic to wool. He doesn't bother the sheep. He stays away from them.
Yeah.
So he hasn't stolen little Bo Peep sheep.
Right.
So he wants to be a rock star.
Yeah.
In the play, he had a big rock song,
Right.
BB Wolf, and
Wow.
the three pigs were his groupies. So the three pigs are a hot item.
Right.
One of them had laryngitis in the play, and one performance came out with a pig in her mouth. I mean, with an apple in her mouth. So the pig,
I like the pig part better, but okay.
yes, but an apple in a pig's mouth is kind of something you've seen in the past. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, you
so
certainly sound like you like to have fun with your writing and with your
yeah,
directing, and I think that's probably. It's funny you came to it. Remember, if I've got my story right here, you weren't an author that decided to work on a play. You were heavily involved in
uh,
theater into this
uh,
play, and then you moved over the book. It's probably why your writing is so creative.
yeah, thank you. My background definitely was theater. I was
Mhm.
an actress first,
Yep.
uh, and when I got my theater degree, I knew I wanted to direct.
Right.
And how many chances are there to be a director? I'm in Baltimore. Every theater place I've performed with, they have a director.
Right.
So I was saying to somebody who overheard me say, if my ex-husband ran for political office, I would give a play as a fundraiser.
Hmm.
And this politician asked me if I would do that for him. And again, volunteering, I thought, how do I hold auditions? I'm not a theater company.
Right.
I decided to think about it and decided to form one. And I formed Maryland Theater Arts Company in 1978, rented a barn, built the stage, rented the lights, and performed a Neil Simon comedy, Prisoner of Second Avenue. And
Oh.
that was my first beginnings in directing as my own theater company. And then I stole the Maryland State Choir because I needed a pianist and, and asked them to volunteer at the Good Shepherd Center, where I was directing young people in performances that were sent there by juvenile services for 3 years.
Hmm.
So and then how do we continue continue to support ourselves as a theater company? We offered our services to other nonprofits. They could sell tickets to a play and pay us a flat fee for Sound of Music, Fiddler on the Roof, musical reviews. It was the musical reviews that made me start writing about things, because
Right.
I needed to write scenes. And that way I didn't have to pay royalties. If I did music from the 1920s and the 30s, I didn't have to pay anything for those.
Wow.
So it's interesting how I evolved writing
Yeah.
scenes.
Sure did. It's something else we share. I was pretty active in theater myself.
Aha.
My children. I've got a stand-up comic out in L.A. I've got a sketch
Ah,
comic in New York. The principal at Langley High School referred to us as the Von Trapp family. So,
ah,
so we you're hitting on that one. We
you
connect to as
understand.
well. Let's
Yep.
get all right. Let's wrestle you back to now the your writing a little bit.
Yeah.
For you. Uh, What's the most challenging part of the writing process?
It wasn't challenging. It just flowed.
Load.
I'm fortunate. I never had that problem. And since then and it's like when it happens, it happens. I had a thief. I once went with a friend, a New York actress. I was, and she introduced me to another actress from the Gary Moore show.
Hmm?
Her name's floating around now, and her husband invited me to Upper New York to their house, and he was a writer for CBS. And I said I wanted to write a play, but I didn't know what to do because I wanted to put music in it. And he advised me, just leave a space where the music goes. And it was interesting how that opened the door. It was like I just wasn't writing because I didn't know how to do that. And
Right.
once he told me I could just leave a space where the music went, I could write.
Right.
That was an interesting small comment. Sometimes can mean a lot. I did theater classes for young people. When I came back from doing the play off Broadway in New York, the local arts community in Cumberland, from Frostburg University's head of the humanities department, the Allegheny College head person, and the Cumberland Theater owners, Shirley and Nick Giarita, approached me to do a children's theater project. I was still working for the state of Maryland at the time. Even when I produced the play off Broadway, I was still working part-time.
Yeah.
So my plan was that I would take early retirement. So on April Fool's 1995, I retired from the theater, from my job for the state, to take on the theater project for children in Cumberland. And I did that for several years.
Right.
So again, what I did then was the Palace Theater is an old Art Deco in Frostburg, Maryland, charming theater. I was watching a movie. It was Heidi, and I went, I have goats. I could do Heidi with real goats. So I took the book off the shelf, read the book, and turned it into a script. And so my writing really began as plays, converting those that were in the public domain, even Secret Gardens in the public domain.
Right.
So I was able to write a script, found someone to write music with me, and it turned out I could write music. That was a big surprise.
Right.
And so I wrote 7 of the songs in the play I did off Broadway. And then I didn't write much after that, but it's when it clicks creatively, it does.
Oh yeah.
And
No, it's hard to turn it off sometimes. I'm with you on that. But I want to reshape that question, and maybe I've got it wrong,
yeah,
but what I'm
okay.
trying to figure out is if I wrote a play, how I would
Yeah.
contract the play to a children's book, because this isn't a 220-page novel. So was it challenging for you? It doesn't sound like it was, but was it
Yeah.
challenging kind of shrinking it down into a
Well,
children's book?
no, just the opposite. The play was really full of music and not much script,
Ah,
hardly any script.
okay.
It needed, when I look at that play, it's ridiculous. It's
Mm,
hardly a play. It
mm.
was so minimal. It was supporting the music
Like an opera.
almost.
Sounds
Yes,
like
yes.
okay. Yeah.
Right. So children's plays are often an hour long.
Mm,
And so it wasn't significantly long in length. It's very different from the play in all honesty, other
right.
than the fact that the tooth fairy and the tooth fairy delivers the tooth. In the play, I made sure we didn't give away the mother is often the tooth fairy.
Right.
We had the tooth fairy on the left side of the bed and the mother on the right side singing a duet.
Oh, that's nice.
And yes, and that way, and then they reached and the magic of the tooth disappearing.
All
So
right. Let
that
me
was how.
ask you this, Penny. What about
Okay.
I'm totally into your book now. What about, are there any songs that
Oh yeah.
accompany the book?
I wish we could do that.
Uh-huh.
I've if when you're reading it, you will know where the songs fit.
Okay.
One, this boy in the book, it opens with his vivid imagination. I mean, he's constantly imagining when I'll tell you one of the things immediately, he says he's not moving. He disappears at the very beginning of the book, and his family's packed up everything and the van's ready to move out, and they can't find him.
Right.
And he's because he has climbed up the fire escape to the roof, and he's imagining he's in a desert now. He's sorry he didn't bring anything, and he's crawling through the desert because he's so thirsty. He sees rattlesnakes, etc. So the boy's got a vivid imagination from the very beginning, and that feeds into the story. And little Polly, there was no little sister.
Right.
Okay, in the play, there were
Okay.
2 best friends. In all honesty, Steve Feldman, that had picked it up for a motion picture, it's true what they say. Oh, Penny, we love your play, but.
Yeah.
Okay, there were no men in my play. He said, we have to add a man. And that was when I asked him, well, for conflict, could I add a stepfather rather than father?
Right.
And that worked. But that was not in the original play at all.
All right.
No, there were no men.
All
And the
right.
two best friends, he said, no, two. Now, instead of two best friends, how about a Willie, a wolf, a little baby, a young wolf? And I thought he was crazy.
Right.
And he saw my eyes crossing and he said, no, you don't understand. I see this as a Wizard of Oz with all the people in this world becoming characters in the next. And you have to know that after the rights came back to me, a Hollywood producer started calling me. His name is Greg Reitman, his famous uncle Reitman. I forget his first name, but he's called me and I said, how in the world do you even know about my play? He said, oh, his sister married to someone who worked on the music with me, gave him a copy, and he fell in love with it. And he would call me and talk about should it be animated, etc. It was a great fun. One day he called and said he won the Sundance Festival. So Greg, but he does documentaries, and not children's plays. So I haven't heard from Greg for a long time, but
Okay.
it was still a tickling. These were all the tickles. And
Right.
then the rights came back to me. I made pitches in Hollywood. And what were the poet, what are those puppets called? Those
The Muppets.
They
Mhm.
I went to make pitches to them and they said I could make pitches for a living. I did a good job, but there was another Tooth Fairy movie coming out. It was a Tooth Fairy where some football player does something bad and he's assigned the duty of the Tooth Fairy. It's okay as a movie for that. It is nothing like mine, but it was
Right.
the timing was bad when
Right.
I made my pitch
Right.
because it was just, I went to, that was Jim Henson's group that
Yes.
said,
Uh-huh.
and then I still remember, like you, I talked to one guy and I thought his body language said he didn't really want to hear anymore. And I thanked him and was leaving. And he said, no, wait, what happens? And I love that guy. And
Right.
Alpine Pictures said they were interested. They wanted to give us a call. I called them, but nothing happened.
Right.
So
All right, Penny, I got to cut in on you. You're right.
yeah.
You're absolutely right. You could do pitches for a living. I'm actually like never had a podcast where I'm basically pulling up a chair just listening. But it's fascinating. But I want to ask you one or two
Yeah,
more questions. First
sure.
of all, is this book an ebook?
That's it's online in Amazon, but I haven't made it an ebook.
All
I
right.
don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Well, we can talk about that afterwards if you like, because
Okay.
that's really just a matter of just flicking a switch. Okay.
Okay.
So all you
I'm
have to
with
do is,
Ingram Sparks. Ingram Sparks would
yep,
probably.
they'll do an ebook. Okay.
Yeah.
But here's
Okay.
what I want you to think about.
Yeah.
There is something that's obscure, but I think it might really be interesting for your book. I want you to write this down. I want you to ask about something
Ellen,
called,
can you write this?
yeah, ask about something called an enhanced ebook. An enhanced ebook. And I say they're enhanced, ENHANCED.
Enhance.
There you go. Okay. And let me tell you for anybody, for the rest of our listeners who want to remind them what an enhanced ebook is. An enhanced ebook is an ebook that has video in it. It has anywhere between, last time I looked, 23 to 25 minutes of video. You can push that anywhere you want in the book. But what I'm thinking about for your book is if you get an enhanced ebook, you could actually have some of the songs in there. Or,
Yeah.
maybe the
Yeah.
choir singing the songs or the
Yep.
music, but you could make it a little bit more interactive. You, of course, could be in there talking
Yeah.
about the book, maybe opening it up. But
Yep.
and just from a cost standpoint, for the actual reader, if your book is $17 and an ebook would probably be $9.99, an enhanced ebook is about $11.99. It's not that much more, but there are many books where I go, that technology really doesn't make sense for you. But for your book, I really think it might be something you want to explore.
I will. I'll have to talk to my music guys.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
Okay. All right. I got one last question for you.
yeah.
Is there any other book on the horizon for you?
Well, one, I have a prior book. I
Okay.
wrote a story for my godchild, and that was a good experience getting that out there, finding again a wonderful illustrator. It was a children's book, came out in 2022, the same year I did a new play. The book is called The Forgotten Bear, A Christmas Tale. The bear wants to be a Christmas present more than anything, but he's still on the shelf and it's Christmas Eve. And he's sad because they're going to put him in the back room and he won't even get to see Christmas when it comes. But there's a rocking horse under the shelf who says, "Hello, I am going to be a Christmas present. Why don't you? Oh, and by the way, my name is Made in Alabama. It's on my belly. If you would like to fall off and have a ride on me, sir." And the bear falls off and has a ride, and everybody in the store starts laughing and having a good feeling about life. And so the shop girl, whose horse has been on layaway, grabs him up, and my gosh, there's this stupid bear on him. She throws the bear in the car too. But when she gets home, she takes the bear, leaves the bear, forgotten him in the car, takes the horse in. But the bear is a Pollyanna bear. He got to see Christmas as they drove through the town. And the center illustration is that Christmas tree in the center of a town with the snow all around. And he can see her decorating the tree through the window as he falls asleep in the car. But Christmas Day comes, she gets the horse under the tree, and it doesn't look right. Something's wrong. Oh, the bear! She runs out to her car, gets it just in the nick of time for her godchild to come in and see, is that bear my present too? And so it's a nice little book.
That's a lovely, lovely book. Penny, you must keep writing these books. You so? I mean that. You have a responsibility to write these books, because I think you possess something that most writers don't. And that is, I think you're an actress first, a director second, okay, and a writer third. Don't take that negatively. I think that's what makes you a great writer, because you are a part of your characters. You can hear your characters.
Oh, yeah.
Many people can't. So I think you've got some more work to do.
All right. Thank you.
I want to tell you, I have had a blast talking to you. How do people get a hold of you?
Oh, well, I am easy. I am on Facebook, Penny Knobel-Besa. I love emails, pkbphotos and 42@gmail.com. I would respond to anybody. So far, I'm not being blinded by fan mail, but I love my fan mail from my play, from kids. And
right.
So, and I think the Tooth Fairy will hopefully come out into the world now. Do you want to know? Do you know what happens to all the teeth the Tooth Fairy finds?
I say, don't tell us. I want people to get the book and figure it out.
Well, yes, you have to do that because it's magical.
There you go. All right. Now I'm going to spell that name because you went over that pretty quickly. Penny's pretty easy, Penny, but Knobel-Besa is Knobel-Besa. Knobel-Besa, if you're looking, and but you got your Gmail, and Maryland Writers Association will have that as well. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been a delight. You've got homework. You got to look up that enhanced ebook.
Okay.
We can make that, and absolutely make an ebook out of this. Go back to Ingram Sparks. You just needed to hit a box or two. That'll happen automatically. And thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a treat talking to you.
Oh, thank you, Rob. It's a treat. Come visit anytime. Cumberland. We have an art studio. My husband's an international sculptor painter, and we love visitors. So come visit.
There you go. Another thing we share, I'm married to an artist myself. So, yeah. So there we go. All right, you. Listen, everybody, we'll do it again as well as we can next time, although that's going to be a challenge. Until then, stay safe.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's guest author, we'd love you to rate, review, and share this episode with others. If you'd like more information on today's guest or the Maryland Writers Association, please visit our website at marylandwriters.org. You can also hear a brief history of the Maryland Writers Association by listening to episode 0.